Ayo Review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm back to bring you another video. And in this one, I'm going to be doing an album review for the Amity Affliction's album, Misery. I hope you're just having the most wonderful day in your little corner of the world, and let's get into this album. So, the Amity Affliction is a Australian metalcore band that was formed in, I believe, 2003 or 2004, early 2000s, so they've been at this game for a while, and this is their 6th studio album, 12 tracks, 43 minutes, and, okay, this album really hooked me on the first track, and then went a little bit downhill. The first track, which is entitled Ivy, and then Doomsday, Ivy Doomsday, this track really caught my attention because it felt really Electronicore inspired, and even when I was listening to this album, I was thinking that this band is keeping Electronicore alive, because while there are bits and pieces in a lot of music nowadays, Electronicore as a whole genre has mostly started to go down in popularity. But when I was listening to this album, one of the things that I could admire right off the bat is that this band is really trying to bring back up Electronicore to the surface, and I can respect them for that. And Ivy Doomsday is an amazing start to the album. It's by far my favorite track on the album. I think that it has really nice clean singing, really nice harsh vocals, and I really enjoyed the mixing on this song. And that's something else, is I feel like the mixing for this album, it's pretty good. There's no real parts that I feel like are unfitting or not supposed to be there. I think that all of them work together very well, and whoever mixed the album did a good job, so I applaud you for that. So now to go into kind of the negatives. I think that, like, the second track's called, like, Feels Like I'm Dying, I believe? Feels Like I'm Dying, yeah, that's the name of the track. This track immediately took me down a bit. I felt like it got a little repetitive, I felt like it was blending together, and that's an issue with this album, is, as I was listening through, it's obvious to me that they have technical prowess with their instruments, and the vocalist is doing a great job of carrying these tracks on his back. But at the same time, it feels like a lot of these tracks can blend together, can feel as if the experimentation isn't really at a peak. And when a band's around this long and going into their 6th album, I a lot of times will expect a bit more experimentation, or at least something that sets each track apart. But for the most part, I feel like this album flows together almost too well, and that's something, it's strange to say, but I feel like this in particular, this album, it feels like there's not enough diversity to carry it for 40 plus minutes. I feel like it could have been cut down. I feel like if it would have been shorter, maybe it would have been better, but there's enough of that Electronicore influence and enough of that kind of metalcore, post-hardcore type of sound and veneer to it that is done to such an effect that it's well made. This isn't mediocre, it's above average. It's not average, it's above average, because the vocals are done to a great extent, and I really enjoy, like I said, those electronic synth type of elements that kind of are incorporated. Those are definitely my favorite parts of the song, because as someone that is a fan of classic Electronicore, I like to hear bands incorporating it a lot, and this album reminded me a lot of The Black by Asking Alexandria, which is not necessarily that good of a thing, because that's my least favorite Asking Alexandria album, but it's still an above-average album. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to be giving this album a 6 out of 10, because, like I said, I always give 5 out of 10s to kind of the middle-of-the-road stuff. This is above average, and if you're looking for an album that is incorporating Electronicore elements as well as that post-hardcore and metalcore sound, I have a feeling that you're probably going to find that you like this album. And it is something that would I come back to? I feel like I would go back to earlier Electronicore releases more so than this album, but it was still a nice listen. I still enjoyed it. There was just some noticeable critique elements, but overall, there are a lot of good things, and I talked about those. So yeah, I want to hear what you guys think of this album if you've listened to it, and just let me know what you thought of this album in general. Did you like it? Did you not? And you can like, comment, subscribe, and I'll shout your channel out. It helps me out a lot, and share with your friends, all that good stuff. In the end screen, you can find my previous videos, and yesterday I released an original song called Crimson if you want to check that out. But I'll talk to you guys next time. But till then, my name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.